a little $1,200 check in 2 years ago, and a $600 check later on, and a $1,400 check somehow costs all this massive inflation that we got today. Just a little pampering for people for a change, a little bit of relief. For the first time in decades, the unemployment of $600 a week. Oh my God, what's going on? We're just enabling laziness, according to these people, and still now there are people out of work because there's still aspects of COVID. Even though our society's hit back into a new normal, we are still kind of trying to adjust to it, and some people are just not able to get back to work because they've been displaced and they haven't been able to get back to the workplace situation that they need to be in, and they're being vilified, and you got people wanting to just yank away those benefits. Now, I do think that some people are taking advantage of the situation. I have no problem with it because that's actually forced wages to go up with absence of workers in certain places. I call it a quiet general strike. It's not politicized, but I don't have a problem with it because it actually has forced wages to go up, which wages needs to go up. They certainly don't need to go down. So, but gas prices are up, and it's due to COVID. The after effects. People weren't driving as much, so the demand was down. And as society was getting back to normal, people were starting to get back on the road, going to and from work. That costs money. People were traveling to meet family, loved ones, taking vacations on the road, taking flights, taking buses, what have you. That also takes money, and so there's been a high demand. That's what makes the prices go up. And so you got partisans that are like, as soon as Joe Biden become president and the Democrats are in charge, the gas prices go up. And never mind that the gas prices were comparable to the way it was under George W. Bush. But back then, it was the free market. It was the free enterprise system. And how dare you criticize the free enterprise system under George W. Bush? But when a Democrat's president, it's always the Democrats' fault. I mean, I don't want to defend Democrats. Democrats are horrible. But so is this mentality, the partisan mindset. That just gets on my nerves. So, and that's what we're facing up with when we're seeing the little stupid, I did that with the Joe Biden's little sticker on the gas pumps with the gas prices being high. And look, I drive a long distance myself, and to and from work, and it's no pleasure for me. It's no pleasure for me either. So I mean, it's making me mad because it's a drain. It's a drain in my wallet. So anyway, what can I say? I mean, you got people with no imagination with this kind of stupidity. You put George W. Bush's face up there, they'd have been like, you just hate our president. You're either with us or you're against us. We got to bomb those Middle Eastern countries before they come here and they fight us. That was their mentality. And then, Democrat becomes president. Those damn Democrats. Yeah. And that's the mindset. That is the partisan Kool-Aid drinking mindset you have to deal with. So, right now, Sean Hannity and some of the other right-wing talking heads were getting angry about Joe Biden. And I'm no fan of Joe Biden. In fact, I want Joe Biden to probably resign as soon as possible because he's actually been a pretty damn crummy president. He's ineffective. I mean, he has dementia as far as I'm concerned. I mean, he sucks. Joe Biden sucks. I mean, he's done nothing as far as a leftist like myself. He's done next to nothing as president. I mean, and I am going to make a prediction that Joe Biden will probably resign next year. I think that the Democrats are going to beg him to resign because the Republicans got blood on their hands right now. They're smelling blood. They know they're going to take over the House in November, and they are promising to impeach Biden. And I think it's very likely that they will. However, if Joe Biden steps down, history has a way of treating presidents later on where presidents are not treated too kindly at the moment. Then later on, when people reflect, whether they deserve it or not, they tried to sugarcoat the presidents and make them out better than they were at the time. No, they suck at the time. There's no reason to sugarcoat them. They're going to do the same thing with Biden. Look what they've done. They sugarcoat George W. Bush, who was our worst president ever. So that's exactly what they're going to do. And I'm going to make a prediction that they're going to do the same thing with Donald Trump. Donald Trump will be buddies with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in 8 or 10 years from now, if he's still alive, when we end up with Ron DeSantis in the White House. So, I mean, you mark my words, you know where you heard it first. But Joe Biden, I'm not a partisan hack. Every president that sucks, they're capable of doing something correctly by accident. And Joe Biden talks about easing restrictions on Venezuela. I say don't just ease it. Just get rid of all the restrictions. There's no reason to declare Venezuela as an enemy state at all. They're no threat. Even if you disagree with them ideologically, they're no threat to the United States whatsoever. But having that set aside, Venezuela has a lot of oil. The United States buys a lot of oil from Saudi Arabia. Do the math. Even if you're a hardcore anti-socialist, anti-communist, or whatever you want to call yourself, objectively, don't you think it's far worse to go and buy from Saudi Arabia? I mean, when you compare Saudi Arabia to Venezuela, and I think that anybody from this, if you're a reasonable person on the center left, center right, and you compare Venezuela to Saudi Arabia, it would make sense not to buy from Saudi Arabia at all, and it will make all the sense in the world to deal with Venezuela. It would make all the sense in the world. In Venezuela, I mean, like virtually all Latin American countries in the Spanish and pretty much the Spanish-speaking world. I mean, you have a situation where, well, I'm gonna go by. I was answering somebody's Facebook feed this morning, and I'm going to basically just regurgitate what I wrote as an answer to that person, because I mean, I know he agreed. He just didn't agree with me yet. He didn't have a chance to. So, I basically said the very same motherfuckers who want to buy oil from Saudi Arabia all of a sudden gets triggered by Venezuela. I mean, these neocons do not care about us at the gas pumps nor world peace, and their foreign policy adventurisms have proven that. What they care about is bullying others around that they don't like. That's all they care about. That is the main objective of the United States government by some of these assholes that runs the State Department and are connected with defense contractors. And when you compare Venezuela to Saudi Arabia, you have to consider this. I mean, Venezuela, you have elections. You have elections like you do other democratic nations. And in fact, the elections in Venezuela are actually more fair than it is in the United States. Saudi Arabia is a fucking monarchy. So there is that. Venezuela was one of the first countries in the world to abolish capital punishment. We abolished capital punishment here in the United States. And Venezuela, in Saudi Arabia, you can just get the death penalty for jaywalking almost. So on that alone, Venezuela has, are on the moral higher ground. In Venezuela, while they do not have a great track records on LGBTQ rights, for example, same-sex marriages and even civil unions are not recognized, and that is a stain on them. But having that said, in Saudi Arabia, they execute all LGBTQ people, no questions. Sure, if you're gay, bisexual, lesbian, transgender, or queer, anybody in the orientation spectrum, you are executed, because Saudi Arabia is a theocratic state, and they have zero tolerance. They have a tolerance level that's even worse than evangelical Christians here in the United States, and their tolerance is pretty horrible as it is. There is a drastic difference. It's far safer to be LGBTQ in Venezuela than it is in Saudi Arabia, by a long shot. In Venezuela, like virtually all other Latin American countries and throughout the Spanish-speaking world, it is predominantly Roman Catholic. There are Protestants there, but you can also be Muslim, you could be Jewish, you could be atheist, Buddhist, whatever. You have religious freedom in Venezuela. Leaving the Islamic faith in Saudi Arabia will also get you executed. Doesn't matter where you go religiously in Saudi Arabia. You leave the Islamic faith, you're executed. Venezuela has religious freedom. This so-called godless communist state down in Latin America actually has religious freedom. But the right-wing people will not tell you that, because they just won't tell you that. As far as the freedom to protest, the freedom of speech, freedom of the press in Venezuela, they actually are pretty good and have a free speech, freedom to protest against your government, and freedom of speech on par with the United States. It's actually like in a world scene, Venezuela's kind of up there as a nation with a free press, free speech rights, and the right to protest. It's right up there on the top of the list when it comes to world, in the world. So, you can't do that certainly in Saudi Arabia. And here you got a lot of state governors and red states that they don't want you to protest. But while the Trump administration, and in particular John Bolton, had a hard-on for regime change in Venezuela, they had no problem with dealing with Saudi Arabia, selling arms to Saudi Arabia to go and make money, and to go and to oversee a genocide in Yemen. And nobody's said anything about it. Hardly any. I mean, there are people says that in alternative media, but you're not going to hear it. You're not going to hear it in the mainstream news. And if there was anything that Trump should have been impeached for, other than this false Russian collusion that never existed, would have been, dealing with the Saudi Arabian government. But that would have meant impeaching Obama. It would have meant impeaching George W. Bush, Bill Clinton. It would mean pretty much impeaching every president, which I wouldn't have any problem with retroactive impeachment, because they're all sacks of shits anyway. So so you have that situation there, and I am not going to go and lose sleep at night because the United States did something positive for a change with regard to dealing better with Nicolas Maduro. That's certainly a breath of fresh air from what's been going on lately, because it seems like the only thing the United States knows how to do is bully countries around. Venezuela not being the first. I mean, they've done this from day one in Cuba. They've done this in Jamaica when Michael Manley was the prime minister. They did it with Salvador Allende in Chile. They even murdered the prime minister of New Zealand. I believe his name was Norman Kirk or Neil Kirk. I always when it comes to that prime minister, I know why they murdered him. They murdered him because he was opposed to nuclear weapons testing in the South Pacific, and so he made a big stink about it, and he was mysteriously poisoned in 1974, and that's what happened, and that explains it's all been a Norman Kirk. It's all been rumor and speculation, but most people who are familiar with Prime Minister Norman Kirk would agree that he was more than likely assassinated by our CIA, which is the biggest hindrance to our world peace right now, as far as I'm concerned. And if I was president, if I had the power, I would do this, but I wouldn't live much longer afterwards. I would abolish the CIA. We don't need it. We really don't. So I just kind of wanted to speak my piece about this. And this is why gas prices may be coming down more than likely. It's not going down as much as I want it to, but it's been going down for a little while. But would the Republicans who've been blaming Biden for the gas prices going up, would they give him credit for the gas prices going down? Not that I'm saying that he should be reelected or be considered a great statesman and all that. I have problems with Joe Biden. That's that. I don't like Joe Biden. I dislike Joe Biden. I want him gone. I want him to resign. Having that said, he did something accidentally correct, and so that's what I wanted to mention. So I'm glad that the gas prices are coming down, and that's much better than just taking the gas tax off, because that was a dumb idea. Because at least with the gas tax, that's going to pay for your roads to maintain, and because if you have horrible roads, what's good is it to get rid of the gas tax when riding on shitty roads? It's going to make your maintaining your car, it's going to ruin your tires. It's going to mess up your alignment in your car, and you're going to put more gas in your car because, hey, I mean, it's going, rough roads are going to just eat up your gas tank too. So that's a dumb idea. Dumbest idea is to go and get rid of the gas tax. The smartest thing to do, and they'll never do it, is to take the oil companies in this country and nationalize it. That's what I would do. I would nationalize the oil companies, as they have done in Venezuela and as they have done in Norway. And the only reason it hasn't worked in Venezuela because the United States has been so busy trying to undermine and bully the country around. If they leave the country alone like they left Norway alone, they would be a hell of a lot better off. We have a chat line here. We have a radical leftist agenda. Hey, how are you today? Great seeing you online. Let's see. FJB. I am not sure what FJB stands for. Oh, yes, I do. Yeah, I agree. Yes. Let's go, Brandon, from the left. I do know what you mean. Let's see. Propaganda Live says, Madruro is the reason why I'm coming, Willie. Hey, how are you doing, Propaganda Live? Let's see. Logistically. Hey, radical leftist agenda again. Rebecca, hi. I'm glad to see you online. Hi, I heard he was getting help from Saudi Arabia trying to get the credit for it. It's more like he's getting help from Nicolas Maduro. And I think Nicolas Maduro, it may be politically correct in America to do this, because all people want to do when you discuss Venezuela, people want to sit there and kick a country while they're down. And there's no reason to do that. They're actually doing us a big favor. Let's see here. Share this channel, everyone. I know this guy. He reports true info. Thank you, Rebecca. Yes, I've known Rebecca for about 22 years now. Funny how, yeah, we used to work together years ago. So one of my favorite coworkers when we worked together. So anyway, everyone, that's pretty much what I want to share with you. Let's hope the gas prices come down even further, and for no other reason, just because we need to survive. It takes money to it takes gas to get from point A to point B, so we can survive. And and it can affect how much we eat or whether we get medicine or not. I mean, that's a problem in itself. But when you have more money being sucked out of your wallet because of the gas prices, that doesn't help situations. So Anyway, if you like what you heard, press like and comment. If you disagree with what I have to say, comment anyway. We will have a conversation. Feel free to share the content on this channel. As a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you to create your own platform and utilize it, because we are, in fact, the muckrakers of our time. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. And until next time, I am Willie Bragg. I want to let you all know that to encourage each and every one of you to go ahead and reject corporate media, because they got nothing to offer to us. And I will conclude by giving y'all some generic instrumental elevator style copyright free new wave music. So y'all take care. Have a good one. Oh, hold on. Hold tight. I ignored some folks by mistake. I am so sorry. I can't ignore anybody by mistake. So hello, hot retarded chicks. I didn't mean to ignore you. And let's see. Propaganda Live says Latin American sexism comes from religion. America, because in his own words, I want to live freely. Hold on. Yep. Hold on. Yep. So, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to ignore a few folks. It's just how I am. So I'm going to go ahead and continue. So y'all have a good one.